Hello, and welcome to Knights of the Night Actual Play Podcast. This Dresden Files story, Delivery, was written and run by your GM, Tom. And now, please enjoy episode 68, titled Magic Ain't Pretty. Before we get into play, we have a little bit of feedback. The first bit was I got a message in Cantonese last night. I'm guessing it's Cantonese because Google didn't translate it as Chinese very well. So
could be Mandarin.
No,
I think it's
we know somebody Mandarin. In China right now.
Right, it's one of our former players, Melissa.
Oh, excellent.
So I don't know if she sent it to me by accident or if because I'm like, hi. I don't know what the hell that means, and Google doesn't either because it was a string of Chinese characters. Well, no, it was actually English alphabet, but it you can throw it into Google Translate and say, tell me what you think, and they take a shot at it. Google didn't have any clue, and I didn't, and they didn't have a Cantonese. They had a traditional Chinese, and it didn't. So
it was Mandarin, not Cantonese.
Is it Mandarin?
I think that. Well, I don't know, but there's Cantonese and then there's Mandarin, and they're both.
Mandarin is common.
I think Mandarin is what is considered Chinese and Cantonese.
But Melissa was studying a particular language, and
of course, she had to go with the more esoteric of the language, and that was Cantonese.
At the very least, we want to say hello, Melissa.
Ni hao.
Right.
Very good, Mike. We also say what?
Yes, thank you.
Very good. You've had conversations before, I take it, with Melissa.
No,
Cantonese, Chinese, Mandarin. We got one email from our feedback at kotnpodcast.com from Terrence, and the subject was loving shit luck.
Okay. Right.
I tend not to love shit luck.
And he says, I was randomly searching for actual play, in quotes, in iTunes yesterday and happened to come across your group. You got me through a very dull Friday. I'm sporadically playing in a group that's World of Darkness based, but in the GM's own world. So listening to you all is helping give me a better sense of the World of Darkness mechanics. Those bees in Benjamin's garden. Ugh. Looking forward to listening through Shit Luck and going on to Delivery. Thanks, from Terrence.
Well, thanks, Terrence. We always appreciate...
I like somebody who goes all the way back to the beginning and listens to all 60 of our episodes.
Absolutely. That's really cool. And, I'm glad it gives him a different perspective on World of Darkness, because everyone can play it differently. But it's good that he's getting some of the mechanics from it, because we kept a lot of the mechanics in on that first podcast. And I'm sure he'll enjoy Delivery as much as he does Shit Luck. And hopefully Shit Luck will get even better for him as he goes deeper into the story.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how far he's gotten into it so far, but it is a good storyline. It was a lot of fun to play, that's for sure. Our second bit of feedback is from our friend Rocket from the forums.
Oh, Rocket.
What does Rocket have to say today? I am really enjoying the Dresden game, and I like the different character aspects from the introduction. To answer Scott's question, I am springing the bees as a resource for the Vampiric Prince of DC and the Theocracy. Perhaps, Rocket, I'm sorry, I don't know if it's a misspelling or not. Allies that he has to produce weapons to gather information for the vast Sabbat conspiracy that the Cairn of Great Falls, Virginia has to battle from their rural base. I might run a hunter game in the same setting with the bee spirits as the focal point for the story. The detail and planning that Scott did for this game will allow me to seamlessly use the bee spirits in the old World of Darkness as corrected animal spirits with Bane influence. The bee spirits may also be inhabiting a vampire or two on the sly to their own agenda.
Well, there you go. That was in regards to the question you asked, Rocket, if he ever used.
I had posed that question to him, and I appreciate the feedback. Rocket sounds like an interesting take on our storyline, and I hope it works well for you. We appreciate future updates as your story evolves.
And our last two pieces of feedback are iTunes reviews. Two of them, both of them 5-star.
All right. Are they for Dresden or Shit Luck?
Well, here's the first one. John?
Terrence says, can't rate this high enough. I need at least a couple more stars to rate this properly. The recording is awesome. The characters are phenomenally crafted and everyone brings their own unique qualities to the game. I was caught up on all my usual actual play podcasts and desperately needed something to break up the crowd of a very dull workday. The podcast was my salvation. Thanks, KOTN.
Hey.
I can't pronounce 6 exclamation points.
That was the same Terrence from before?
I believe that is exactly the same, Terrence, from our feedback. Thank you not only for the feedback, but for the review, Terrence, because reviews are always helpful. The more we get,
5 stars.
The more we get, the more we pop up in searches on iTunes. So it's kind of
It's a good thing. Yep. Thanks, Terrence.
And the last bit is another 5-star review from iTunes from...
Great stuff by Troggy. I'm going to pronounce that Troggy.
Okay.
I just listened to your Dresden stuff and it piqued my interest in the system. I've been listening since the single-digit episodes, and one thing I've loved was the ambient sounds, and I loved the storm sounds in the latest episodes.
Excellent.
Well, thank you.
Troggy, right?
Troggy?
Troggy. T-R-A-W-G-Y. Troggy.
Okay, Troggy. Thanks for the review, Troggy. We're glad you enjoyed the Dresden storyline. We're having fun playing it as well.
The production value that you've been adding to them has been really, really nice. Although it's kind of weird because in a way you played it for us to listen to as we played.
As players to
help it, which really was helpful. But when we edit and cut it apart,
and that's actually why I did it. Is
I think
because when you've got a song going along and you hear chunks of it cut out because someone's coughing, or someone says a particularly long or somebody sneezes or knocks over a cup and all hell breaks loose, whatever the case, it gets a much more flowing and natural sound to do it afterwards. But then that takes from the player.
Since I've been hearing such positive reviews through the podcast about the way Tom's handling the ambient sounds for the Dresden series, that maybe I will just use very small doses of to set the mood for the players during the game, but not let it go on for 20 to 25 minutes. Just a quick 30-second to 1-minute snippet to allow you guys to feel the mood I'm trying to project, and then play the scene out as opposed to 3 hours of a sound loop going on and on and on again.
Yeah, if I ever do a sound loop, it's at a very, very low level, and it's only to break up and cover the scruffles of cups and those types of noises. And it also adds ambience. When you're in a bar that has jazz, then you want to do a little bit of jazz music, but that's about the only reason. One last piece I forgot. We did have something from DJ Allan on Facebook. Mike, go.
Oh, okay. On our Facebook, DJ Allan says, I finished book 3 of the Dresden Files, the first book I've gotten all the way through, and while I True. And while I don't really think I've grasped anything extra from listening to you guys, I do have slightly more appreciation for the game now. Keep it up. Those first 2 books are abysmal.
And I think we've all mentioned multiple times that book 3 is
where it starts.
Where the series is started. But anyways, with that, we will wrap up and we'll get on to our play session. So, there's a blast. See that dip a bit, but it keeps going. We are out of combat.
Bastard.
As
Unless you
Allan...
want to fly after him.
I don't have the ability to fly. Well, I suppose I could cast a spell to fly, but
It's never worked.
Then you have to land. It's a big mess.
that's not going to be the hard part. Put this on the ground. That most definitely will happen.
As Allan is in the room, the office,
Well, I am
swearing and
I am
staring off into the
absolutely,
window.
I'm thunderstruck that this homecoming has not at all been nice and good, and I'm trying to determine. Well, I guess this room looks like just a windstorm happened in it.
Gee, you think?
Yeah. Well, I dropped the spell or whatever residual of it, and I'm going to start using my senses to look around. I mean, first of all, does it look like William's old office, or has this also been cleaned out?
No, this looks like William's old office. In
Right.
fact, he was a bit of a slob.
Yeah.
And there are stuff, well, now there's stuff all over the place, but even before, when you first walked into the room, either Megan had been ransacking it and throwing things around, or he was being his typical slobishness. And you can verify that by going in the room behind it, which was where all of his files.
She was originally in the reception area, right? When she attacked Maxwell?
No, she was in the office going through his desk. This is information you get from Maxwell as he comes back in.
Right.
He also is pissed off that the other vampire got away, but he
You're
informs
pissed off.
He informs you that
That's
when
my thing. I catch people who run away, and he can fly.
Next time,
You didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me we were fighting people who could fly.
don't detain, kill Warden next time, please.
He informed you. Maxwell tells you that when he came into the office, she was going through the desk.
So what's
Now,
the desk?
do I remember anything about William Donovan having concealed compartments in his desk, or would that really be where he keeps key information? Does he have a safe or a kind of like either a lab, the way Harry Dresden kind of did, where like a trapdoor, or would he have a special space that he would conceal things that, as his as the Robin to his Batman, that I would have full access to and remember? And I'm willing to roll a lore, and I guess spend. Well, I don't want to spend my fate point.
I don't want to spend.
I gotta bank him up because I gotta apparently fight vampires now. Can I get back to fighting dogs? I was really doing great against the dogs.
I didn't get to shoot anything today. One bastard ran too fast.
That's a wash. Great. I have a great lore as I try to remember.
Bill.
Thanks, Place.
Bill, what has been going on here, man?
Well, you do recall that he had a lab underneath this building,
Okay.
and that the entrance is in the file cabinet room. There's a trapdoor, and then you lead down to his small.
As I recall, there would probably be wards of defense or protection or concealment on it. Are they active? Which, if they're active, that might be a clue, or that might tell something. Or is there anything like they've been messed with or disarmed?
Okay, so you're convening with everyone in the file cabinet room and taking a look at.
Yeah, I can take a look around. I mean, I'm kind of still torn. I mentioned to Maxwell that not only did you not catch that person that you were running after,
Damn it.
but I know who the woman was, or at least I knew who she used to be.
I was going to say.
And she was the daughter of the person whose office this is. So a lot of things have changed in Cleveland. A lot of things, and not for the good.
Max, I'm pretty impressed that you chased off a vampire by yourself. Scared the hell out.
You know, that's a good point. That's a good point. Not one, but two. And they didn't exactly get hurt, or we didn't force them off. They just wanted to get out of town. Like, they don't want to be...
I have a feeling that they're not 100% full power. Otherwise, I think they would have stayed around and tried to take us out.
Maybe it's close to morning.
No, it's actually.
It's midnight when we got
Midnight.
here. No, that's a good point. That they should have not been so easily scared off unless there's something else going on.
Whatever they're looking for, you should try to find what they were looking for.
Ah, okay, sure.
That's easily done.
Oh, yeah, of course. Can I please find whatever it was that they were looking for?
Yeah, just make a roll.
Yeah, that'd take a long time to set up my thaumaturgy. Oh, you know what?
I was great at finding things.
There's
this guy I know.
There was always someone
Whoa, one at a time, guys. Yeah.
I want to go see what they might have been trying to pull out, or what files they might have been looking for, to see what they might have been looking for.
Sure. Investigation roll.
I'm a soul.
You're smoking?
Yeah, I'm soul.
I got a wonderful, great. What am I saying?
First of all, after the battle's over, everyone that has any kind of mental or physical stress, that disappears. I don't think any of you took any consequences, so that's fine.
Okay.
So your mental
I didn't get it
Yeah.
once.
stress recovers. You look at the desk and you're trying to determine maybe what she was looking for. It's hard to tell. You don't know what kind of person William Donovan was. You get the idea that he was a cluttered and messy individual, and it doesn't look like she had much time to go through his desk. So you can't really figure out her mindset of what she was looking for. Drawers are open. One of them is spilled and upside down, and it looks like some of the things are kicked about or pushed around, but you're not sure what she was looking for.
Question. Do I remember Bill Donovan as being meticulous and orderly, and looking at it now I could maybe see a state of he's become this this slob apparently, or did I always know him to be kind of a slob?
You knew him to be a bit of a pack rat,
Okay, fair
but
enough.
he was
A messy type rat.
a little neater than this.
Okay.
So there might have been some deterioration going on where he was just getting worse.
Just wasn't
Because
here.
the back room, it is a mess.
Well, there's certainly no computer files or anything like that to worry about.
How about trying to figure out what cases he was working on last? Jobs he was working on, whatever. You don't.
Well, sure. I mean, I look at his desk and going by how I remember him doing his work, I look in the spot where his latest information would typically have been.
Okay.
I want to help him out.
Yeah, give me, I don't know who wants to do the investigation, who wants to assist, or...
If this is investigation, I'm really not good at true.
All right, so
Investigation. So you can tell me where to look.
right,
Yeah,
he's
I'll-
better at investigation than you are, so what could you use knowledge of Bill Donovan to give him an assistance?
Well, I could say that Bill liked to keep his top right drawer where all the current, whatever he's currently working on, he would always put in this drawer. Or I would give him some other clue that, or some other behavior, or
All right. I think you would have a fair chance of having good knowledge on how to help him, but what skill are you going to use to try to reach that fair?
would lore count as a memory or as
So let's go with, I think, scholarship, maybe.
Unfortunately, I don't have scholarship.
Discipline, concentrating on figuring out what he's looking for.
How about this? And a lot of time has passed since I've dealt, so maybe Bill's become more of a stranger. But how about if I go with my investigation or empathy skill to
Anybody else
try
got
to
that?
share, so like reading people.
Okay.
You know-
Well, I could say empathy would work.
All right, but it's not my best, so I'll do my best to contribute to.
All you need is a fair result.
Then why would I? Oh, there's a roll.
I always have to roll.
All right, so I get I get a good. No wait, I get a fair result.
So your empathy was just average?
Yeah.
Okay. So you do manage to remember information that will give Edmund a +2. Give him a...
Oh, he just.
That gains my minus. Which gives me a superb.
Wow, you are a good investigator indeed. Edmund does find a log book, something along the lines of a ledger that
Don't open it.
that has some events in it that are as recent as from a week ago, and they mention 2 people in particular. One of them is a Ryan Nelson, an appointment with a Ryan Nelson, and the other is a Sarah Lemons,
Lemons.
Lemmons.
Lemons.
Her name again, please. Sarah Lemons.
Sarah Lemmon.
Orangelo.
Sarah Lemons.
Call her Lemon.
The note with Ryan Nelson mentions a meeting. The entry for Sarah seems to be not a particular meeting, but like surrounded by question marks and.
Yeah, do I recall any type of symbology that he might have used, or any type of ciphers or symbols he might have used to code his logbooks? Or maybe give emphasis to certain things?
It's been a while since you've dealt
Fair
with him, but
Okay.
you know that he tended to be a bit of a doodler. And you see around the Sarah thing a lot of indication of frustration and uncertainty. And around the Ryan Nelson, I mean, it wasn't a specific code he would use when he was keeping his work notes. Did teach you certain magical languages and such, but his notes with work were usually pretty straightforward.
I wonder if this has any connection to the person looking for a woman that was talking to London. But then again, I'm assuming that Ryan and Sarah are connected in this. It could be 2 separate things.
I want to play.
Unless there's something else in his desk or this area. And also, I would like to examine the area where Megan had thrown a fantastic punch and hit the wall. To see if there's any blood or residue or anything when she punched, to see that, or if there's any.
The tracker.
I
Yeah,
was wondering
possibly.
if I could spend a faith point and try something.
What would you like to try?
I have met just about everybody as an aspect, and I want to know who Sarah Lemons is.
You don't have to spend a fate point for that. You can make a contacts roll to see whether or not you would know who Sarah Lemons is. You could then spend a fate point to add +2 to it using that aspect.
So I can make a contact, which I have as average.
Right. I have a target in mind.
Okay. So I'm looking for, I got a fair with my roll.
Okay. That is not the target you needed to know. Where I don't want you to spend the fate point because I can tell you right now adding +2 is not going to be enough for you. You never have an inkling of who Sarah Lemons is. You haven't heard of her.
Could I be using that roll to figure out who either of them are?
You can change. You can do an additional roll to figure out who Ryan Nelson is. Sure. And I have a target in mind for him.
And him, same result. I got a fair.
You also failed, but this time I will tell you if you do spend the point, you will know because you only needed a good. You missed by 1.
Okay, so I do know just about everybody.
You know just about everyone. You spend a fate point on that aspect, and the fact is you have heard of Ryan Nelson before, and he is involved with what's called the Paranet, which is
Right.
yeah. Okay.
It's the, well, in case people who
Right,
don't know
go ahead.
World of Darkness fans who don't know Dresden, it's basically people in the know keeping contact with each other and what's going on.
It's those of lesser power.
It's the hedge wizards, the low power, the witches, those.
Keeping an eye on
They
each other.
try to cover each other's back, and yeah.
It's the small fry sticking together.
Right, and he's
He's the local head
in
guy.
Cleveland. He's the local head guy.
We should probably know that guy. Just on average.
Wait, it only required
I know.
a pretty easy. Well, I mean, you have to be in the know, but
Yeah,
They may not take kindly to a warden dropping by.
maybe.
They tend to fear my kind
Rightfully so.
or any attention from the White Council.
I'm calling.
Why is that?
you're calling what?
Calling London on my cell phone.
Because since it's our job to police the use of magic, and here's a bunch of untrained, unlicensed people using magic, who for some reason don't have enough power to qualify for full stats, nevertheless, you gotta take them down every once in a while. By the book. No, I don't like it, but I have to do it. Felt
So-
I owed it to them.
So Edmund takes out his phone, dials London on his burner, disposable phone that he's currently using at the time. Numbers were exchanged in the last meeting. Your phone rings as you're sitting in La Cave du Vin.
I answer.
You have it on vibrate.
Non-committally. Just hello.
I mean, I don't have to be talking to you, but hello.
No, I mean he doesn't give a name.
Oh. Like I said, London here, just in case someone knocked him unconscious and you called my number. Just hello.
Oh, you missed a lot of fun, dude.
And not by accident.
I gave him the short version of saw some guy chase some sick some dog on us. We took out the dogs. Him and some chick got away. Here's some information we found. Here's 2 names you heard of before. You want to come down here to see if you want to do some psycho tracing or try to bring anything back?
If we could keep our meeting and you can bring something here, I don't think.
I was thinking about one of the dogs' heads would be a good thing.
No.
Because they've been where this guy's been.
Perhaps a drop of blood,
Oh, well.
as opposed to whole carcass or head. Since this is a public place.
Okay.
I brought you a doggy.
I brought you the whole carcass.
12 midnight still, if you guys can make it. And we're here and comfortably ensconced on my 3rd glass of wine. And I'll do a little research and see if I can't find out who those 2 individuals are that you just named.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, as hellhounds are prone to
They
do,
start turning into goo.
you got a pile of ectoplasma left over. They don't tend to leave bodies behind.
Right.
So, we should go check that hole in the wall.
Maybe she left a fingernail in there.
Who's the best at investigation? 'Cause something-
That would be me.
Okay.
I'm looking to see if she left a fingernail or any blood when she put her fist through the wall.
Okay.
Or like, her entire hand. That would be
Entire hand.
great.
It just ripped off. I got an epic look for him.
An epic look. It's good enough to find a small scrape of skin that was taken off as her hand came back through the wall.
Tough hand.
Perhaps she hit a stud in the wall and there's a nail and just got enough.
Well, she
I think
didn't
if
get
you
a
put your
stud.
fist through drywall, you're gonna lose something.
Never
She might
mind.
not be as all in that fleshy as the rest of them, but maybe she did leave something behind. So I grab it, throw it in a bag, or
Get your little tweezers and your evidence back.
Do I remember Phil Donovan's wife and the mother of Megan?
You do know that you came back to Cleveland for her funeral. It was a number of years ago. So
Okay.
Maybe you guys should
Oh,
get
wait
out
a
of here.
second, yeah, just because she's dead doesn't... Oh, wait a second. I just happen to have a specialty in ectomancy.
No way.
I don't suppose she would be buried at Lakeview Cemetery, or...
Why, yes, she is.
Who's that?
Hey, I just remembered I can talk to the dead.
Oh yeah, that's my major power. Let's go do that.
Who's
Well-
buried at Lakeview?
Megan's mother and Donovan's wife. And maybe there is some insight
How long
or...
ago did she pass away?
Well, I came back for her funeral, so she's been away some time, but... when I came back for the funeral, was Megan a vampire? No, I
No.
wouldn't have known that. Duh. Sorry,
No, yeah,
that's a
you-
stupid question.
Stood
She
by
was
the
a
coffin.
vampire, but she was like, whatever.
I'll see you later.
Deal with you tomorrow.
I'm busy.
Okay, that's
Do you
something...
believe it was like 6 years ago? It's so hard to tell. Time goes so fast, but it was a substantial amount of time ago.
Calendars don't work for
What
me.
was this vamp's name again?
Her name was Megan Donovan. She was the daughter... Oh, the only daughter?
The only daughter, the only child of
The only daughter and child
William
of
and Marilyn Donovan.
William and Marilyn Donovan.
Megan, as far as you know, didn't have any powers.
Okay. Well, there you go. Well, now she has powers, but not from her dad, I'm guessing. The power to being a real bitch.
So we still don't know for sure if the old wizard is a bad guy or not.
Who done
Do we?
Are you asking me?
Yes. We're just trying to find him. We still don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy.
I'm just here to do a job, and we'll see what's going on. I'm not entirely convinced that Bill could have fallen so far. I'm back to clean up this mess.
All right, so you guys do what? You
Well,
got everything
there's-
you want from here? His office or no?
Is there any reason to... Well, I was going to go into his lab, too. We talked about it, but going back, was the seal intact on his...
Give me a quick lore roll, please.
A superb roll.
Yeah, you get close enough to the door, and it's a hum.
Okay.
It's a hum with power, and it seems to be sealed.
And am I able to get a sense of the weave of the sealer spell?
With that roll, yes. This essence and energy just reeks of your mentor.
Okay. And refresh my memory, in the Dresden world, if you are dead, does your magic persist? Or if you're dead...
Long-time magic sometimes needs upkeep, like wards.
You know what I mean?
Well, I would have to say the fact that Cleveland is still surrounded by something put up by Mr. Rockefeller hundreds of years ago, and he's been dead quite a while, it seems that magic persists.
Okay. I'm just trying to think it through. Okay, that's fine. Well, in that case, I'm kind of willing to leave the lab if it's still sealed and intact.
Unlock it and go in. You can do it.
I'll just stand all the way.
Maybe not right
I'll
now.
go out in the parking lot and wait. You just...
Maybe I need to come back to this. Maybe I'd like to perform this when I'm a little bit more rested and during the daytime. And also, I would like to get to Le Cave de Vin.
Beer is sounding really good right now.
It's a wine bar.
They have beer there.
Yeah, but they'll treat you like shit for ordering beer in a wine bar.
So then they have Mad Dog there then.
There's nothing like being served by someone who thinks they're infinitely superior to you.
That was
You want
there.
fries with that, sir?
So are you done at the office? Go to the wine
I
bar
think
now?
I'm done here. I don't necessarily want to open the lab up. Well, I trust you and all, Edmund, and you were the first person I called when I got to the city, but...
So you guys travel across town to the east side, over to Coventry, or Cleveland's Bohemia, to meet up with London,
we did get a sample of Megan, correct?
Yeah.
Roberto. London and Roberto.
She lost
And
a bit of her
yes,
fist.
bit of the skin scraped off.
It'll be enough.
Okay, after the battle, I'd say you probably took about 15 or 20 minutes to explore, investigate, get everything you could. So roughly about 1 o'clock.
I'm sorry, one last thing. Were the doors forced? Or
Yes.
was it... Okay.
They were.
Interesting. They can turn to mist, but the doors were forced. Oh.
Thresholds, man. You gotta worry
Oh,
about them.
yeah, there you go. Okay, see?
So they invalidated the threshold?
Yeah, profaned it with their fists.
Well, I don't know.
Profane.
A place of business doesn't have as
Maybe
much
they
of a
pissed on
threshold
the
as a
door.
home where you live, so I don't know.
Yeah, but this is a
No, but-
wizard's... Well, that's true.
Yeah,
People
but
could
they
walk
didn't
into
get
Harry's
into his
office.
lab.
Could be another reason why they ran away.
Probably not, because you're right. Harry's office, people and creatures could walk in without causing too much trouble.
You guys arrive at the table. There's some strange individuals sitting there with Roberto.
I assess the situation. Does London looked like he is uncomfortable by this strange. Oh wait, no, he is strange. Just got
Good assessment.
I forgot about the seaming. London, hi, how are you? No, I'm kidding. I don't say
I'm
that.
not drinking your usual white red wine.
Funny seeing you here.
Give me a roll for how well your seaming is made.
This one's so-so. I believe the seaming is disciplined, so this one is great. But when they come in, a little wink of the eye, let's say come towards the table, and I stand up to greet each one of them.
You guys can all roll to see if you see through it.
It'd be lore.
I would think it would be lore for mystic perception.
I'm gonna go empathy as in reading people to see if that's him or not.
I'm gonna go by lore for Mr. Perception.
Empathy.
It's much easier if you have the sight, I think. Yeah. Good. So you have that, right?
I do have the sight, but I'm not invoking it.
I got a good.
If it hadn't been for the wink, you wouldn't have known that was him. But
So if I have the sight, do I automatically know?
No, you
only
gotta-
if you open the sight, which is a dangerous thing.
I don't want
I
to do
got a
that.
plus 1 for the wink.
I don't want to look at him.
I got a fantastic.
All right, you just, you're looking at the mannerisms. You're used to watching people, and the way he sits and the way he moves. You're like, well, and the fact that he's sitting with Roberto. Come on. So
I have a great-
that's London,
I have a great lore.
and that was equal to the town.
Equal.
Yeah. The attacker wins on a tie, but there's stipulation. Like with a weapon, you don't do any damage.
I would say it this
And
way.
he gets a +1.
Do you think it'd be fair to say that
We're just-
while I recognize it's a seeming, I
Judging
still
the
can't
veil.
penetrate to see that?
Right. I mean,
Okay.
again, he's sitting next to Roberto and he gives you a wink. It's not a big surprise, but of the three of you, the only one that really penetrated it was Mr. F guy over there with his
My-
training, just watching
Yeah.
how he sits.
My
and-
investigation is very low, so.
Thank you.
Right.
But anyways, they come join you.
That's what I thought.
I've never seen a better
They're
laugh.
served whatever you guys want to drink.
Is this a place where magic can occur? Or?
I'm recording this as overtime.
It's not
Hey, boss.
I guess my point is, I'm wondering if perhaps we should take a precaution and, I can cast a simple spell to just, make it a private conversation to prevent eavesdrop.
This
Muffle in
neighborhood
the air.
does have an above average share of the supernatural.
Yeah, but he controls the air.
You could just make a pocket of vacuum.
That's fine, but he's got to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I would recommend it.
Right, so
It costs one mental strain. You throw up a shield of privacy. Sure.
a cone of silence. Would you believe a cone of
I
silence?
would think it just make our voices sound.
I don't need to necessarily pump
Not
it
like
up.
there's a
Maybe I
noticeable
do.
void of sound, but you just really can't understand what's going on. Kind
You could assign it to
scrambles
objects, throw it places. It was.
I will.
And the spinning is a plus.
It's about a minus, so it takes my discipline down to a good. But I was only.
How powerful was this?
Then I was going to put like a power 2
This is a block to awareness.
Yes.
For
or
each
eavesdropping. I'm just trying to.
I think if people were trying to eavesdrop, it would be alertness roll. Is all I'm saying. So it's a block.
Do something along the investigation level.
I didn't know that. That would be alertness for hearing and such.
Take 1 point of mental stress.
Yes.
Well, I call over a waitress so that they can get their round of drinks.
She comes
And,
over, takes your orders.
Yes. The Cave of Vind does not
She a
have.
vampire?
It's not stuffy, in the sense of wine. They can order
What is
a
the
wide
regular?
variety of beers here.
Okay.
Yeah, give me a glass of whatever he's drinking.
Okay.
Bordeaux, French.
Lafitte 52.
And you, sir?
I don't drink on the job.
Very well.
Pepsi. Coke.
What job?
Pepsi.
I'm getting paid overtime.
Yes, but we're supposed to put on
Whatever.
Roman Coke.
You're not paying me enough for that.
Well, he's not paying you at all. He is.
Alright, fine. You're not paying me enough for that.
She returns shortly with the drinks.
or water and lemon. Fill me in.
We tell him about the residence that has apparently been vacated and has Ryan Realty and some of the things we found there, and how it is almost devoid of any
It was Ross Realty, David.
Ross Realty, correct?
It was clean.
It was like super clean, so there's no trace of him, which I thought was kind of unusual. So we went to the office to...
Yet predictable.
One might call it suspiciously clean.
Right, especially considering who lived there. We went to the office, we encountered two vampires that were apparently looking for something. One of the vampires, I did not see the man.
Oh, they were back.
They didn't try to sex their way into Maxwell's
Head.
head. So it's not White Court, and...
6 people in
We
their
heard
head.
rumor.
Or no, it was a Red Court. No, both Red Court and White Court both use sex in that.
A little bit.
We previously heard rumor that the Black Court's got a new breed of vampire out there that it's...
Well, one of them turned into a...
This
I'm
seemed
sorry.
to be them.
One turned into a bat, one turned into mist. One of them
Got away.
One of them is named Megan Donovan, and she is the daughter of William Donovan. And that is news to me.
The other?
Can I describe this guy I was chasing with
Sure.
any detail whatsoever?
Because he doesn't have details.
I don't. What am I rolling?
I mean, you can describe to him what you saw, which was
Guy.
a guy
Running in the opposite direction.
younger, probably a early 20s, shorter than average, say 5'9", 5'8", kind of Mediterranean looking, dark hair.
Oh, him. All right, so I will make my contacts roll to see for rumors and...
If you know anything like this.
Yes, I believe contacts is gathering information, getting the tip-off, knowing people, and rumors. So if I know them, it's under contacts.
Okay.
And what I would know about them as well. It's superb.
And that's exactly what you needed. So, you actually have heard of this couple. You didn't know the name Megan.
Makes sense now.
Right. And you're not exactly sure of the name of the gentleman either, but you have heard that they're kind of a team that has been going around lately and seem to be working for the clinic. They're hitting certain jobs, they're doing certain things that are causing people to pay attention to them.
Do you mean they're freelance? Or mercenary? Or that they're just...
Backed by the clinic.
Okay.
Some of the jobs that are being done, that seem to be specifically clinic oriented, so they seem to be working.
My question would be, are they trying to make a name for themselves, or are they doing a poor job of keeping themselves concealed so that people know who they are?
The second, they seem to be doing a poor job. I mean, they're doing work and they're getting some of it done, but they don't seem to be being particularly careful about being caught.
Does London have any idea how long they've been in operation?
If she's the daughter of Mr. Donovan,
Actually,
was she?
you didn't have a name. You had the description. In
Right.
particular, these two
So
are young.
they're newer in a sense of she wasn't operating while Mr. Donovan was filling the warden role.
That would be correct. It's only the last couple weeks that maybe 3 weeks. You believe the first time you heard about this vampire couple. Black Court vampires are not wide known in Cleveland.
Right.
They are relatively rare. And the fact that there was a young couple, it doesn't really fit the mold of Black Court vampires. They are old, decrepit, And if they're
And
newborn...
You know a little bit about the clinic, though, and their interest in
Sure.
the Black Court. So obviously it makes one pause. It could be blackmail on Mr. Donovan.
I think having his daughter would certainly be leverage against Bill.
And newborns usually aren't this skilled or controlled.
Right. So that leads me to believe that might be the case. And so perhaps, as we discussed earlier this evening, Warden, Mr. Donovan has been seen in colluding, or at least in the circle of, is it Constance? Rockefeller?
Cleveland Clinic would be Constance.
Well,
And wondering what that relationship might be. And this certainly points in a direction, although it might be too early to make
Right.
it firm.
I think colluding might be a wrong word, but I suspect perhaps, given Megan's condition, coercion is certainly suspect. So,
Right. Well, before we knew about Megan, it
Right.
seemed as if there could be some collusion there, and we were uncertain as to where that was. And I'm downplaying it for him because I think I know that he's actually working with her, or to some extent, but I'm trying to minimize it for Mike's character.
What about Sarah Lemons? What do you got on her?
What do I have on her?
Yowza.
Same. Superb.
You're kind of surprised to hear that name.
I'm relatively surprised.
Because
with it.
the second person you were supposed to track, and that you tracked to the house, when you got back, you looked up the address, and it was the Lemons family. Sarah and her husband Vince. The house was owned by them. And you do recall that when you did a trace on her, the spell failed, but it failed in a way that you knew why, and that was because she was no longer living, and that type of tracking requires a different type of spell.
Right. So how did she play into this evening again?
She was she was in his log for things he was doing last, and her name was just in there with like a bunch of question marks, like he was wondering who she was.
And it was days ago. The log was only a few days ago, right? That we found this entry.
Yeah, that is correct.
So she's dead.
He was interested in her.
He's interested in her. Black Court vampires.
I'm sorry.
A pretty obvious tie-in, but maybe something a little bit.
Could we back up? Your reference to Sarah Lemons is that she owned what property? You said that did she own something that we've already checked out, or she was one of the buyers?
Well, I don't know what you want to tell him.
Yeah, no, I think I'm comfortable enough with this arrangement and the previous relationship with these, especially with the warden, because he seems to be incapable of dishonesty. Unlike his predecessor, but he seems
not yet corrupted by Cleveland.
Right, and he hasn't been here enough to be corrupted, so I feel comfortable enough. We're not meeting at my headquarters. I have a bodyguard. It's obvious that something's going on, so I don't go in depth about the current angst I'm feeling about not being able to reach all my resources and not being able to do what I could normally do because of my predicament. But I am willing to open up about the fact of the last couple of days and what went down.
Okay.
I don't see any advantage right now, and I'm all about advantage, and I don't see any advantage in holding anything back from the gentleman I'm working with right now.
So you have an address in Bay Village where the Lemons household was located, or is located.
I share that. And do we have anything, did you bring back anything of Mr. Donovan's to be able to track?
Oh, that's always
the whole reason that you actually went to.
Well, we got attacked by vampires and hellhounds, and I got distracted. Yes, damn it. We got his logbook that he just written in 3 days ago.
Tenuous, but I might be able to do something with it.
You have something even more tenuous. You have his old house.
Oh, we got
No, his
That
old...
was bleached, I thought.
Yeah, that was all cleansed, remember?
we got Megan.
But this is his handwriting.
We can forge a signature.
I mean, his sweaty hands was on the paper.
Let's say we can rewind a bit. You are a warden after all. You deal with magic every single day. You're in his office. What do you want to try to get that's...
Well, obviously something for a tracking spell, and that usually requires a piece of hair, skin, or blood, or fingernails, or if there's it's gross, but if there's a bathroom, find...
Oh, I don't
Also got this.
Yes. Well, there's...
his old coat and hat on the rack.
Well,
See if you can find
if
hair
he's
off
been
there.
such a slob, then, maybe there is still stubble hair in the sink where he's not, shaving occasionally. If you really want to get gross.
No, we don't really wanna get
Magic is, magic is not pretty sometimes. Might be a pube or two on the rim. You don't know that.
Wow.
I'm sorry I went there, but this is magic. And if you want to track somebody, sometimes you get...
home.
Let's not go.
Did it have to be a pube, Mike? Would you quickly today?
I got a bag with old pubes for you.
With hair? Seriously. You bring Cleveland's most profound and expert tracker, a pube. This is what you want me to track? Dear God, man.
We didn't find a booger.
Have some class.
We found a booger under the table.
My God.
Oh.